17 music boss ideas in Mario Maker 2. Fighting unique bosses can be the best part about playing Mario Maker 2, but our limited music choices can make them feel really boring. Today, we're going to look at 17 ideas where creators make custom music during boss battles using note blocks and other course parts. Let's get started. Projectiles fly from all directions as Mario struggles against musically enhanced bosses. This triple stack of koopalings stand atop a mighty ghost pillar. An on-off switch triggers every few seconds to lift the enemy tower up and change the trajectory of their attacks. If only Mario hadn't been separated from Toadette and Blue Toad, he might have had a chance to beat this trio. With his last ounce of strength, he attempts to jump over the colorful Cheerios, but gets hit and loses consciousness. Toadette explores an underground dungeon, feeling worried and uneasy. This whole thing started when Luigi suddenly vanished into thin air. She hopes Mario and Blue Toad are doing okay. Toadette snaps back into the present moment as she enters an arena filled with hanging vines. She sees a vulnerable spot on the right wall and lays some delayed explosives. She jumps and grabs onto vines to avoid giant Zappa lasers shooting across the floor. Winged Spinies on Drybone shoot deadly spines across the arena as purple donuts from Ludwig try to damage Toadette. She uses skillful climbing to survive long enough for her detonator to take out the wall and move to safety. Blue Toad is still frustrated from the disagreement he had with Mario and Toadette. Even though they all had different ideas of how to find Luigi, he does feel guilty about abandoning them. Because he wasn't focused on where he was walking, Blue Toad suddenly falls into a pit with spike traps as the floor. Two state blocks change color following the music playing and the winged hard blocks visual indicators. As he finds his footing, Bowser Jr. spews fireballs and leaps up to attack. Blue Toad swiftly changes platforms while taking the opportunity to bounce on the angry turtle's head. Blue Toad manages to bounce on Bowser Jr. 3 times and earns a key to escape. Link comes across a paranoid and wide-eyed Mario in a dark castle. Seeing that Mario is clearly delusional, Link knows he needs to protect him. Ghost Bowser sees Link and wants to take him down. A flame wheel of fire bars on a track overlaps with a Blast-A-Mecha Koopa to fire explosive missiles that track Link's movement. Link throws a bomb into a note block that launches up to trigger an on-off switch. Luckily, triggering this switch launches the ghostly beast forward for a short time and makes him vulnerable to Link's sword attack. Link repeats this plan a few times until he gets enough slashes on Ghost Bowser to successfully defend Mario. Now that this area and Mario are safe, Link decides to go find someone or something that can snap Mario out of his hallucinations. Toadette progresses through the dungeon and finds her friend Yoshi. They team up to find a way out and come across Spicy Bowser. Scorching fire rain falls from the sky that Toadette and Yoshi need to dodge. Because Spicy King Koopa is protected behind a wall, the dynamic duo launch fire through the obstacle to deal damage. Spicy Bowser has small semi-solid platforms to jump on, making his fire attacks less predictable to dodge. Using a combination of stealing Bowser's fire and licking through walls to grab lava bubbles, Toadette and Yoshi melt the villain and escape. Blue Toad looks for clues about Luigi and lands in a room protected by 4 Koopaling guardians called the Meanlings. Blue Toad has a plan and lays a trap. The walls are made of bullet blasters on parabeetles that gradually close in over time. Blue Toad's arena gets smaller and smaller as he dodges Grape and Blueberry Lifesavers of Doom. When he survives long enough, he triggers the P-switch and destroys the guardians. As he leaves the area, he finds a blank scroll that radiates with energy as he picks it up. He decides to bring this along, just in case it comes in handy later. Toadette leaves Yoshi to rest and scouts ahead to find a way out. She wanders into a creaky room with very little light. Winged ghosts on tracks fly towards her in an attempt to knock her down. Mohawk Boo launches bouncy orbs to push her into enemies as Laser Ghost defends the top of the arena. On-off switches trigger, causing Boo stacks to attack upward into the arena, but it also uncovers an opportunity for Toadette. She notices that the switch uncovers POW blocks above, and Toadette uses the bouncy orbs to hit POW blocks at the perfect time to destroy the door's lock and escape. Link, determined to find help from Mario, looks for footsteps. The set of footsteps that he finds leads him straight into the lair of the Duga. Duga is protected by a wall of P-blocks and a giant cannon on either side. Link must tactically bomb near an on-off switch at the perfect time, otherwise a bullet blaster on track will push away his explosives. When the switch is triggered, the giant cannons move upward on on-off conveyor belts, granting an opening for attack. Link can now shoot arrows up at the beast through bumpers and a one-way door. If he shoots enough arrows while dodging projectiles, Link vanquishes Duga and earns the key to exit. Blue Toad can't go back to his friends until he has a way to help. He feels remorse for the way he left things and thinks the best way to make up for it is with solid information. Two koopalings ambush him, clearly wanting to recover the scroll. Blue Toad fights against the Slam Bros at the same time. Grinders on tracks try to slice Blue Toad if he gets too close to the ceiling or the sides of the arena. Both large koopalings try to ground pound and stun Blue Toad as he jumps and evades. Blue Toad quickly loses his firepower, but strategically jumps on the enemies' heads until he defeats them both. He wonders why they are so desperate. What are they trying to hide? He sees a strange marking on the wall and opens his scroll. The marking suddenly fades off the wall and reappears on his parchment. He's not sure what this means, but he presses onward to find out. Toadette climbs up and finds Mecha Morton blocking her path. She grabs vines to stay above the danger as Morton uses his spicy butt slams to melt ice and reveals painful spikes below. Toadette picks the perfect moments to drop down from her vine perch to hit her captor 3 times and escape. Once she gets to the top, she finally makes it back to the starting position and notices some arrows on the ground that weren't there when she left. She sees her old friend Link. Link explains Mario's situation in a panic. Toadette speculates that Mario's condition will worsen if they don't find the right ingredient to heal him. If they give him the wrong ingredient, they could lose Mario forever. Toadette goes to gather materials while Link searches for Blue Toad. Link gets trapped in a tiny box arena and squished in place by bullet blasters. He can only turn left and right as fish skeletons come hurtling towards him on tracks. He quickly switches directions and stabs with his sword to defeat the first wave of enemies. Link is released from his bullet blaster prison and fights off diving fish bones by jumping, dodging, and slicing. After what feels like hours, Link sees a familiar face jump in to take his place and finish this battle. Blue Toad dodges boos that appear in the arena until a P-switch spawns and allows them to escape. Feeling relieved to have help, Link explains the situation to Blue Toad. Blue Toad shares that the markings he is finding could be the information they need. He presses onward while Link heads back to wait with Mario. Toadette heads into a castle to find a spicy mushroom. The balancer stands safely on a bullet blaster surrounded by a lava moat and a protective pipe that drops spike balls on anyone who dares to get close. Toadette has to somehow damage him using only an on-off switch. The bullet blaster is on an on-off conveyor belt, which allows Toadette to hit the switch to move the balancer closer. She can do this when spike balls are dropping to give him a taste of his own medicine until she defeats the balancer for good. She carefully picks a mushroom out of the lava and places it in her bag. Blue Toad, feeling purpose but pressed for time, drops into a dark and scary arena filled with skulls. Ghosts circle near the walls as Boo Leader patrols the center. More and more projectiles launch at the Mushroom Man the longer he survives. Once he evades long enough, he gets a key and escapes. Blue Toad finds a marking in this area, and it automatically shifts to his scroll. Toadette moves into the next zone looking for a slippery mushroom this time. She comes across Iggy in an icy lava cave. Lava rises and falls as she dodges Iggy's green apple-flavored Cheerio projectiles. To make things more challenging, icicles fall as she stands on platforms, and the only way to damage Iggy is to run underneath him while the lava is low. Toadette masters the art of running during low tide and sends those icicles down to crash on Iggy to defeat him. She collects that slippery mushroom and moves on. The quickest way for Link to get back to Mario is through an abandoned castle. Link enters a room and hears some grave and ominous music. A terrifying enemy parachutes down from the sky and taunts him. Link carefully sizes up his opponent and eventually decides to make his move. After a long and stressful battle, Link defeats the Gumbrat and continues on his way. Blue Toad sees multiple markings up ahead. As he moves forward, a stack of 4 deadly Broodals confront him. The Brutal Broodals sit on a muncher on a right-moving conveyor belt while they hurl dangerous shapes at Blue Toad. Blue Toad advances while dodging the projectiles and other obstacles until he gets to the final arena. Here, he hits on-off switches to have a muncher progress above the enemy stack. He jumps onto a platform and triggers a switch, but now he has to move to the other side to hit the next. Blue Toad chooses his moment, jumps up to the last switch, and causes the muncher to defeat the Brutal Broodals. 2 strange markings this time evaporate and materialize onto his scroll as a reward. Toadette drops into the next arena and dodges fire snakes made out of lava bubbles. Lazy Ludwig sits in a safe spot shooting his projectiles, while Toadette figures out a way to damage him. A bullet blaster appears every 10 seconds and shoots a spike ball into the arena. Toadette can hit the on-off switches to launch a muncher up into a trampoline to cause that spike ball to hit her enemy. Lazy Ludwig's third phase makes the fight even tougher with additional projectiles, but Toadette persists and launches the final spike ball to defeat him and collect the Mushroom of Life. Mario's friends rush back to his location with the knowledge and items they've gained. They look at Blue Toad's scroll from all angles, just to realize that the cure for Mario's hallucinations is the spicy mushroom. They give Mario the finely aged mushroom that has been marinating in lava, and suddenly, Mario stops moving. An unfamiliar voice comes from his mouth saying, "The one you call Luigi belongs to us. All beings will be converted in one day." Then he snaps out of it and goes back to normal. All the friends are shocked about what that could mean, and now healthy Mario looks around confused. To see the entire story so far, click on the playlist on the screen right now. I'm Arrowstotle, and thanks for watching.